Rockology Hour Interviews.
What's up, everybody? I'm joined on the Zoom machine by Gould from Creeper. How are you doing, mate?
I'm doing very well, thank you. It's nice to be on the Zoom machine.
It's great. I mean, it makes my life a lot easier. How are you doing in these kind of, I guess you're going to be asked this question a lot this week, but how are you doing in these kind of very strange times we're living in?
Well, it's made all the more strange by trying to release a record through it, you know. But in a weird way, I don't think there could have been a better time to release a record that was born from so much chaos. And that, like, our records, I don't know how much you've heard about what we've been talking about over the past few months. It's been a wild ride making this thing. So of course it had to come out at the height of a global pandemic because it makes sense in a way. I've been trying to focus on that. I've been super busy, but I don't know. I try to keep in my mind all the time that there are people who are a lot worse off than me, and as frustrating as it is sometimes, you got to try and keep remembering that, you know. So it's annoying I can't play shows. It's annoying that you know, for musicians and artists in general, it's such a difficult time. But I haven't got it the worst by far. So that's all right, isn't it? Really.
Well, shout out to your mum, who I believe works for the NHS. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, she's gone back to work. She was retired, and now she's returned to work, which is really cool. And Sean from Creeper has been working at the NHS as well, on the front line. And Hannah actually. Hannah was, but she works in midwifery. Hannah does. So it's just cool. Everyone's been doing little bits because we have to try and work out how this all works. You know, at this time in place, it's an uncertain time, isn't it?
Yeah, it's such a strange time, but they're the true heroes of this whole kind of pandemic lockdown situation. But you must be excited. I'm absolutely buzzing because on the Friday the 31st, 2 days time from this interview being recorded, we get Sex, Death and the Infinite Void, your new record. How excited are you for the release of this new record?
Oh, I'm so excited. It's one of those things where it feels like a million years in the making. It feels like Chinese democracy, you know, it feels like that. It just feels so surreal that people are actually going to have this record and be able to listen to the whole thing. Because to get to this point where we are just 2 days away, to get here right now, it almost broke our band up. It almost, almost really, really seriously injured some of us. And it was, there was a lot of very difficult times going into this, but also to be dissatisfied with something we've made after everything that's happened. It's amazing. To be so confident with something we've made after everything, in kind of the midst of all this chaos, a record that we're all very so proud of. That's an amazing feeling too. So yeah, it's just cool. I feel like we're closing a chapter on Friday. It's kind of, we're giving it away. That's always what it feels like. It's become someone else's record when you put it out like this on release day. So it's exciting, man.
I'm very excited for it. And you touched upon a lot of things there. I mean, the 5 kind of singles you've released already, you can tell it's like a big kind of departure, very brave, but I really like the new tracks you're putting out. And, you know, a lot of bravery shown by you guys to take a step in this other direction. I think listening to your interviews, you got told by your record label, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. And you've been very kind of firm in your beliefs and what you want to do. So, I mean, I'm excited to hear the whole thing. I want to take you back to November the 1st, 2018, that Coco show. I loved this kind of, I guess, vanishing act you guys did. I guess it was the last kind of show of the Eternity in Your Arms cycle. What was the thought process of kind of having such a kind of dramatic ending to that saga of the Creeper career?
Well, it was we kind of rode in on a vanishing act. We rode in on at the end of Reading and Leeds. What year was it? 2016. When we were setting up this campaign, a lot of the marketing was based around the way they marketed the Blair Witch Project, and mixing the reality and fiction, and that's kind of all the best things do. You know, we were mentioning wrestling to me a little before we went on the air. But that's what, when professional wrestling's at its best, is when it's kind of real life personas turn up to 11, or it's like the kind of, you can't see you can't quite see the man behind the curtain moving all the parts. And so that's what would creep us best as well. It's when it's kind of telling a story and you can't really tell what's real and what's fake. And that's what was great about the Blair Witch Project, when how that was marketed. They made a website that documented this thing and made it like a real found footage film. Found footage film, lots of F's there. Alliteration from me. So yeah, it's that was what our thought process was with that. So we rode in on that, and I knew how we were going to end it all well before I think before we even began the campaign. I knew it had to end in a grand end exit. So but our disappearing act online originally was just kind of, we disappeared from social media, and we launched this the Who is James Scythe mystery, and that all began then. And that was a really special time in our band's career. But it ended with a real life vanishing act, because anyone can vanish from social media. That's something that's not that difficult to do. But to vanish in front of your audience's eyes, and you know, that I felt like that was a much more spectacular feat. So I worked out how we could do it with using classic magician tactics, or misdirection. So the movie at the end played as we got into a van at the back of the venue, and so we were out. So even by the time people came round to the side door of the theatre, we'd gone. That all of that was planned, like, and I had to do like these big meetings about it all the time. It was crazy. So yeah, the idea was that, like, the meaning of the whole thing was to leave that era in the past, to timestamp it. I was saying this recently. You wouldn't want to see me, you know, at 35 wearing a Calax heart jacket. You know, like, you just don't want to see that, because what that does is that ruins the memory of what that time was. That time is special. And if you were involved in the creeper lore and in our fan base and our fandom at that time, that holds a very special place for you. Much as like this period of time right now will hold a very special place in people's minds because of what it is now. And when we move on, whenever we move on to the next thing, people will look back and go, "Do you remember when they did that thing?" So I just wanted to keep it, protect it. Like these are pieces of art. Lots of it's performance art, but like you know, it comes from my love of theatrics and things. But it keeps, now when you see that those jackets, if you see a photo with us wearing those jackets, you know exactly where that's from. You know, it kind of protects the vision, and it keeps it so no one can touch it, no one can sully its name. It lives forever in a memory, and it's not like, we're not going to be that band that does the 10-year anniversary cycle where we come out wearing Callous Heart jackets. You've seen that now; it's done. Like, and if you didn't see it then, like, unfortunately, you can't now, because that's not what's happening now anymore. We're onto this new thing, but you won't be able to see this again in about 2 years' time. That's the fun thing about it. It keeps it locked in a place, you know.
Yeah. So I guess the first record was more kind of like Southampton and kind of growing up in that area. This record, I believe you filmed it in LA, around the corner from Beez's house, as he was telling me. And you spent 6 months there, roughly. Is this kind of like a love letter to America and LA in particular, this new record?
Well, it was about like the first one. The first one was like kind of where we were from, and it was recorded in Southampton and where we grew up, and we were recording in the studio for years before in other bands. And in the time that what that record allowed us to do was to tour constantly. We ended up spending more time on tour in America than anywhere else in the world. It was like we were there for so long, because those American tours last for like 2 to 3 months. Every time you do one, that's just to do one lap of the country. It lasts a long, long time. So we're constantly doing tours out there, or doing like one coast and then flying back doing the other coast. It was a really, really a real lot. And so I felt like, if our first record showed everybody where we came from, this next record should kind of show where we've been since. And so making an American record seemed really appealing. If you think about those amazing like Hollywood records, what's made them, the Michael Jackson records that were made in Hollywood, it's a very cartoonish. It's a very cartoonish kind of, what does a band do? You know, they go make a record in America, you know, like that. That's kind of like in Hollywood. It's so preposterous and over the top and like silly, you know, like, it's like, well, we made this record. That's that quote that I put in the press release at the very beginning, you know, and the discarded stardust of Hollywood, made in the discarded stardust of Hollywood, California. I know that's ridiculous, and that's why it's fun to play with these things. So yeah, like a lot of it is very real experiences. Me and Terry, we had some crazy nights in Los Angeles. And there's literally, when I listen to the record, I can hear I can hear the nights speaking to me from the past.
Wow.
I can, like, like there's that line in Paradise by the liquor store and the Crimson Light. There's like some descriptive stuff, but that's literally round the corner from Terry's house. There's this neon liquor store as the sun's coming back up from the night in the morning after. So yeah, there's loads and loads and loads of stuff in there. It's an American record on purpose. That's why you've got like the surf guitar on there. That's why we're playing a lot of those styles.
Yeah, well, when I had him on the show, he was raving about it. He was saying how good and brave and bold it was. And judging by your 5 singles you've already released, it definitely seems that way. So I can't wait to hear the rest of it.
Thanks,
like
man.
the record's kind of split into kind of 3 stages? Is that right? Have I heard you say that? What are these stages?
Yeah, so it's 3 acts. So the record obviously is like a narrative. It's a concept record of sorts. So there's 3 acts to it, but musically and like sonically, there are 3 acts very much as well. The first few songs are good. You're going to cycle through the singles that you know. That's what's going to happen at the very beginning, and then you're going to get to the second act, which is where things take a really interesting turn. The people have. It's so funny. Reviews are coming out, and we get such lovely reviews for this record already. It's been amazing, and so I've been really flattered by some of the things people have said actually. But it's funny because some people what people like about this record is different for everybody who listens to it, which is so weird, and it's such an amazing kind of a compliment in a way, because there's some people go, well, I love this record, but there's one song I wasn't so sure about, and then someone else will go, I love this record. My favorite one is that one song that the other guy wasn't sure about, and it's so funny because you're like. It really is divisive in that sort of regard. But the middle section, the second act, is a softer side of our band. I remember our manager at the time was saying to me, he was like, "Well, I've seen people play really fast, and I've seen you play really slow, but I've never seen you do anything in between." And so we started I kind of took it as a challenge. I was like, "Well, what can we do? Like what do I pull from here? Like how do I?" You can't play fast for the whole record because it reduces the replayability factor of the record for one. Unless you're an angry young man all the time, which some people are. I don't know. I love fast hardcore, and I love punk rock, and I love like rock and roll. But like, I also want to listen to Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, the Boatman's School. I still long to listen to those records, I want to have that. So I wanted my band to reflect that. So we got this very bizarre middle section of this record, the second act, and I think it might be my favorite part of the record. It's when things kind of take a really interesting turn. Lots of amazing. The Los Angeles Philharmonic Orchestra play on it, and like a duet with me and Hannah. And then the final the final act is some more kind of. It's us playing with indie rock and playing with more bombastic, ridiculous, over the top ideas. But yeah, and then it ends with like it's the death of our character, and it goes into All My Friends, and we close in classic kind of David Bowie style on a rock and roll suicide. It's a piano ballad at the end.
Wow, that sounds like quite a kind of epic journey. Have you ever been on Twitter and looked at watched people arguing on trying to define what Creeper's sound is, even though I think it's kind of indefinable? Because I was on Twitter the other day and I saw people like kind of arguing each other about it. I was like, have you seen this before? Like, I try
my hardest. Every time I check on what people are doing in general, and the commentary on what my band's doing, it just throws you in a space where it's like. Why, like I just disagree with whatever everyone is saying all the time, and I realize that as my job in that relationship, in other situations, it's absolutely appropriate for me to have an opinion, but especially when I'm a fan of someone else's work, that's absolutely fine. But it's not really my place to I don't get as the creator, I don't get to have a say, I don't get to argue, I don't get to go and say, how can you say it sounds like this? Because that's what someone else is hearing. But I haven't seen that discourse, but I do try and keep a little bit of a distance from that stuff sometimes. But go on, fill me in. What let's say it about me.
My favorite one was cowboy emo, and then goth punk was thrown around. Americana was thrown in there. There was literally everything, and I was like, that's not the point. The point is they're just Creeper. They just have all these different influences. Speaking of influences. I was chatting to my mate the other day, we're obviously big Creeper fans, and he works in musical theatre, and he was like, who are your musical influences? because he wants to know, so you can kind of listen to them. Who do you say your kind of biggest kind of idols are as singers?
Oh, it's difficult. There's so many. I mean, my hero, I've spoken about this so many times over the years, but David Bowie was my hero growing up. Like that's how I learned about music. It's how I learned about how to put songs together. That's like, it's how I learned about everything, really. It was that was a really, really, a point in my life where I started understanding what it is to be artistic in that medium, rather than just what pop music is. I'm not saying pop music is not artistic, because there is definitely a skill to writing that stuff. But the sort of pop music that David Bowie wrote, or the rock music that he wrote, like kind of transcended. It kind of followed the rules I was learning about art in school at the time, and applied them to music. And I started really starting to understand things from that point of view. So David Bowie would be up there. Leonard Cohen, Nick Cave, been mainstays in my life for a long, long time. When I was younger, it was punk singers too. It's like I always think that like one of my favorite front people is Wesley Isol from American Nightmare, because he just is, in my opinion, one of the greatest lyricists of the last 10 or 20 years now, I guess. He went on to do Cold Cave and things like that. But like just amazing couplets and the way he thinks about lyrics, like that always really inspired me. Always thought he was just so fantastic. But then there was Brian Ferry, people who could really control their voice. Like the Roxy Music sort of thing was like massive for me. But Joey Ramone and stuff like that as well, throwing your voice. Obviously, like all the Steinman stuff, like the Meatloaf stuff, has always been a massive deal at my house. In terms of like musicals and things and musical theatre, like the Phantom of the Paradise. I don't know if you've ever seen that film by Brian De Palma.
No, I've not seen it. No.
Oh, just a really, really like campy, kitschy kind of horror, it's a riff on the Phantom of the Opera, but it's about like this rock singer who his face gets pressed in a record machine. But it's got all these amazing songs, like these incredible piano things. But yeah, I just loved all of like glam rock growing up was really, really important to me. But Jarvis Cocker, people from that sort of scene as well. I just riff on all of those people all the time. I steal from everybody. That's how you make good art. It's not just stealing from one person; it's stealing from all of them. So that's what I try to do.
And that's why no one can define your sound, I guess. What I have been very impressed with is your kind of approach to kind of promoting the record. There's so many different things you've done, which I've not seen like any other artists do. You made a Creeper video game. You're doing a Creeper Comic Con, I believe. You've done a movie club. You've made a hot sauce, which I'm going to get. And also you did your own podcast, which gives you like kind of really in deep kind of background on the record, which I really enjoyed. Who came up with these ideas? Was this from you guys?
Yeah, well, all of this, all of the marketing, everything that comes with Creeper is in terms of those sorts of ideas, they're all from us. That's that's one of the things I pride myself on. I want to try and present experiences for people. Escapism, like in its when it's done best, is a series of small experiences that all aid each other. Think about when you go to Disneyland, or you go on a theme park ride or something. Like it's not enough just to go around like on a roller coaster. If it's got theming, if it's got like Disney pumps smells into their parks to make you to trigger your brain into thinking a certain way. That's the sort of level of detail the greatest kind of experience makers do, and people who work in fantasy. I've always had that in my mind. So when we're doing this stuff, I want it to be like a full 360 experience. I want you to be able to dive into these worlds, to fully immerse yourself. And what it means is like this video game, you were communicating with the characters. You were emailing back and forth with people, interacting, and then if you went a certain way, you get something that someone else wouldn't. It took so long to do, but it was really, really cool. There's this gripping conclusion to that as well. And then all of the podcast itself, that was actually Giles Bidder, a friend of mine who I knew from a band called Great Cynics back in the day, who were like a punk band from. I've known him for years and years and years. Just a really, really cool guy. And he's like he asked about doing it, and it's nerve-wracking because I'm really, really good at all the fantasy stuff. Like if you want. if you want to do some elaborate video thing, or like if you want me to come up with concepts of things, I can do that. But the second I had to start talking about reality, I'm much less competent. And I think that that's the unique thing about this record, is this is the first time in Creeper's history where the reality and the fiction have been kind of, normally the fiction is so much more extreme than the reality, but this time they've been both here at the same place. So actually discussing that and talking about that properly for the first time was really really odd. People were getting behind the scenes of Creeper, and we normally don't let people back there, you know. So but it was an important stuff to talk about. It was mental health. It is I think people should know as well, like I see an awful lot of kids that want to get into music. And I used to do these talks at universities and things. So they used to ask me to come in and talk to their kids that they were doing music courses and things. And they'd ask me how to get into music. And I always felt like a fraud, because I just did not go to music college. I just worked it out as I went, and just played gigs and like slept on people's floors for like like a decade. So like, I don't know why they would choose to do what I'm doing sometimes. But like, yeah, but I do think there's a duty to inform people what goes on in this industry and the struggles you face, because often it's glamorized, and what people don't really realize is that there is an extreme mental health crisis in the music industry. There are talks about it online. People, promoters have come forward and spoke about it, and we are trying to make it more of a talking point. But I think that like we're still a way away from understanding that, like, like even like people so far as going on the internet giving your favorite artist shit for something, or I've sworn on the radio.
It's right. I'll take it out.
Let me rephrase that. Even as far as going on the internet and saying something horrible to one of your favorite singers if they've done something wrong to you, or if you feel like something's unjust, I think we need to start getting better at the way we treat each other in general, and we need to start like we have a responsibility for each other. The language we use is so important, and that all feeds into all this stuff too. But it's also touring around and making records for a living, and being like critiques at the end of it, and then how well you do, kind of how well that record sells, then kind of dictates whether you still have a job. It's a crazy world. I think like these sorts of conversations are much more like a podcast like what Giles has done, where he interviewed our producers, Andy, the person from our record label, our manager, Bees has done it, and like people from our band. I don't know. For me, I feel like that was a really. I'm glad we did that, because I think that's as far as what I can offer to that conversation of how do I get into music, and would I want to get into music? I'd put them that way, because like it's amazing, this record. I'm really, really so proud of this record, and we all are, and it's amazing we got through this year, and we're these last 2 years and got through it. But like, I think you have to realize this isn't like working at a bank. There's no like salary that comes in every month. It's not like that. It's basically like freelancing, and it's you're like an independent contractor. It's like professional wrestling.
We'll get on to that. I urge everyone to check out the podcast. It's very powerful and gives you a real like an insight from the journey really of making this record. I've only mentioned other interviews. I think it was with the Mosh Talks interviews that you think this record's kind of cursed. Because not only all the stuff which is mentioned in the podcast, which is in there, but there was other stuff which happened as well, kind of since the making of, which kind of make you think that this record may be cursed in some way. Yeah,
I mean, I reckon it's very similar to like, I was saying it's kind of like the Tutankhamun thing, like when you steal something from a pyramid, and when they opened the pyramid and everyone got sick or something like that, or like The Exorcist, where everyone who worked on the production was cursed. The course of making this record has been absolutely so much horrible stuff has happened. It's been such a difficult time. Obviously, the stuff with Ian being sectioned, and my mother's partner passing away, like in 2 days of each other, these things happened, and then the going through into more kind of ridiculous kind of like, I don't know, Faulty Towers-esque things that happened while making this record, like. The cello player who played in the in the orchestra who came on fell over and broke his leg on the day he was supposed to record with us and to go to hospital. Graham Humphreys, who made all the posters for us, all the amazing tour posters, was getting to work and painting them. He used to work in the 80s for making the VHS covers for The Nightmare on Elm Street and things like that, like real lifelike paintings. And he fell down an escalator and was hospitalized.
Jesus.
I know. And then the plant where the records were pressed burnt to the ground. That in California, just burnt to the ground. Zandy called me up to tell me, he was like, the pressing plant was burnt to the ground after you made your record. It was just crazy. It's been
very soon after the kind of final.
Yeah. Exactly. So we've got ours are done, and all these cursed records are at the moment being shipped out of people's houses to curse them as well. But it's bizarre. It's been there is a constant string. There's loads and loads and loads. Ian's got on his phone a big list of all the things that happened. But there's loads and loads and loads that happens. And it's just
this global pandemic as well.
I know, this is what I'm saying. It's crazy. Oh my God. So of course, this album, after everything that happened, had to get released in the middle of a global pandemic. It's just, you couldn't write it. It's just crazy.
You couldn't make it up. That is, but you have persevered, which we are all very glad. Let's move on to wrestling. Okay, so I think I asked Bees this question when he came on, but which Creeper song do you think would be the best wrestling theme song, and which wrestler would you give it to?
Oh my God, that's really difficult. We actually had a song on NXT once. We had Poison Pens. That was the takeover song. That was a cool day. Have I ever told you about the day that I got to have my own Titantron at wrestling as well?
No, but that sounds like a dream.
It was so great. First, I will answer your question, but I'm going to tell you about this. So, I'm at Download and I'm interviewing Aleister Black for WWE, and I've got one of those mics. I used to have a toy one as a kid with a little box around it, but I had a real one of those, the NXT wireless WWE mic. So, I don't know why that's just seemed like a significant thing to me. I was like, I'm holding
official,
yeah. I felt like speaking with it and then throwing it off like Stone Cold used to do. But yeah, we all came out on the stage at Download Festival. They had a Titantron set up and everything, and it wasn't like a full shebang, but it was a pretty cool entrance and with a ramp and everything. And I was round the back, and everyone was warming up, and I was like at a gorilla, and that's just all really cool things that you never think you get to do. And then the guys went out. It was Ruby Riott and Aleister Black and me and James McMahon, who was at Kerrang at the time. And so they all went out and sat on the stage, and they introduced me. And they had a Creeper Titantron that played, and it was and I came out and just kind of stood up, sat on the stage on the stool. And then James was like, mate, do you not want to run around the ring and run down the ramp and run around the ring? And I was like, oh yeah. And he was like, go on. And so they played my Titantron again. And I ran down the ramp and high-fived everyone as I went out. It was just sick. I was like, this is so weird. But yeah, in response to your question, what would be a good one? You'd want the thing is all that what's the name of the dude that did all the great wrestling songs? Is it Jim Johnson, that guy?
Jim Johnson, yeah, they let him go. CFO.
I know, it's just terrible, to be honest with you. But I think maybe you want something that he would write. I don't think we've written anything riffy enough. Maybe there's some the chorus did song Black Moon on the new record. I think that would be a really good one. It's got a kind of a vocal similar to there's a little bit of kind of type of negative to some of the things that I'm doing on that song, and I think that would be really, really great. So yeah, I choose that one. Who would I give it to? I don't know. It's difficult because Code Orange have done that amazing Aleister Black intro, right?
One, yeah.
They did that with the singer from Incendiary, I think, for him, and they just done the Bray Wyatt one as well. But I think they also did, if I'm remembering this correctly, they did Aleister Black's theme with the singer from Incendiary, doing the vocals. I think they did that at NXT Takeover. Those guys.
Aleister Black's theme though, he's got one of the best ones.
It's gnarly, isn't it?
But Bray Wyatt's Code Orange is.
I know, it's so good. Oh. I would try to give our song to one of those guys, but I don't think they'd want it. I think that what they've got is better than it suits it better than what we would do. But Yeah, like it's a crazy time in wrestling right now. Everyone's wrestling in arenas with shields around the ring and stuff. It's really weird.
It's hard to watch without getting into the ratings. I think no one's really watching it at the moment, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's still near and dear to my heart. Are you watching AEW?
I love AEW. I think AEW. I think I do, but I think that might be to do with our age. You know, like we grew up in a different era, but yeah, like Jericho's just absolutely amazing. Like I think he's just like, I don't know how he's just gotten better and better and better as he's gotten older. Like he's really proven his worth over over this last little period, this kind of resurgence of his career. How funny he is over and over and over again, but still like it's not funny in like you wouldn't say he was a comedy wrestler, you know, like he's not like his gimmick's not I'm the funny guy, like he's not a wacky wrestler. He's still like an imposing heel, you know. And so I don't know how he does it. He walks that line.
He's similar to Creeper, that reinvention. Every time he never dwells on his one character. He's always kind of evolving. That's how he's kind of stood the test of time. So I
think so too. Yeah, I think he does I think he was talking about David Bowie as well when he was talking about that. I saw in an interview. I think he's a really wonderful wrestler. I think Kenny Omega is an amazing wrestler as well. I'm surprised he's not getting more of a push there, to be honest. I thought that he was going to be their guy.
I think they should have. He probably should be the guy for them. He's I guess the biggest draw outside WWE.
I also think he's like the best wrestler in the world, like legitimately the best wrestler in the world. So like I don't understand that. Yeah, I you know what I mean? Like it's like I don't know. I think his gimmick has been amazing in the past. I don't think they've got quite right with him yet. This is my opinion, but I think it seems like they're pushing other people, which is amazing. They're trying to build new stars, and I get that. But I don't know. For me, I would. He's a superstar. You know, he's like one of the biggest wrestlers in the world. They're still, you know, in Japan and stuff as well. I don't know.
Well, I think maybe he didn't want to do what they did in WCW and push themselves too soon and not help grow the young talent. We could talk about wrestling for hours, but are you up for playing my Stapp-oke quiz karaoke game?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay. As listeners are aware by now, I will sing lyrics in the voice of Scott Stapp to Will, and he has to guess the next line, the band and the track. So for the lyric line, it's 1 point, and then half a point for the band and the track. So the Stapp-oke charts, we've got Milk Teeth and Take Flight, 18, but they both had 3 members playing. The top individual was your mate B. He's got 16 and a half. And then, bottom is Paul Visit from Black Orchid Empire. Where are you hoping to come? What's kind of a score you're looking to post?
I'm never very good at these things. So I would, you know, as much as I'd like to be cocky, I will just mess this up. And I know, because this is what I do. But you know, now I've seen Bees has got a high score. I do want to beat Bees, but I don't think I'm going to. And I know I'm not going to. I don't know why I'm even defending. It's difficult. He knows everything about music. You know, you speak to him about something obscure from the past.
Almost didn't get Slayer though, so.
I mean, I would mess that up too. You know, this is a thing. Okay, right. I like it. Let's do it.
Let's go.
I wanted to say as well, I like that you've got a handheld mic for this as well.
Oh, yeah, I like to kind of...
It's like a karaoke mic. This is cool.
It is, yes. Okay, number one, warm up. My sacrifice, am I sounding good to you, Will?
That sounds fantastic. It's a beautiful timbre in your voice.
Drown with me, darling, drown with me.
I'll take you to the edge of everything.
Yes, very good, and
that's my song. So that was an easy goal. I had to tap that one in, but that's Creeper. Yeah,
and the track is
Poison Heart.
Very good. So that's a lovely 2 points. Always.
Oh my God! I had to get the artist and the song. I didn't realize.
Yeah. It's no easy feat. This is tough, but I'll give you a lot of hints. It's a lot harder on your own. Okay, number 2. When I was a young boy, my father.
Oh, that is the Black Parade by Mccormince.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
This is going.
And the next line.
Oh, took me into the city to see a marching band.
Perfect. There you go. Full marks so far. Okay. Number 3. Remember when I said I love you? Well, forget it.
I take it back. I was just a stupid kid back then. I take back every word that I said. That is Appalachian Trio, and that is Stupid Kid.
You're getting these very quickly as well. This is
that's good. That's a good sign.
Yeah, that's a good sign. It will get harder though. I will have to warn you.
I was wondering when you were going to do this to me.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Okay, 6 full marks. Flawless so far.
It's a fantastic score for me. I got to admit.
It's storming up the charts already. Okay, number 4. If you say run, I'll run with you.
And if you say hide, we'll hide, and stay. Because my love for you will break my heart and soul.
The lyric is correct. You got it. Yeah.
It is. Wait 1 second. Break my heart. It's David Bowie, and it is. And the song is. Let's Dance.
Boom.
Yes.
Got it. Very good. I was worried you wouldn't get the track there, but yeah, easy, nice and easy. Okay. Number 5, full marks, 8 out of 8. Wow, here we go.
This is going great.
It's great. Fortune fair, mirror vein, God insane.
Sorry, the voice is just making me laugh. You do it again.
Fortune fair, mirror vein, gone insane.
Oh, it's all come crashing down. I've messed this up, haven't I? Fortune fan. I've messed this up. I don't know what it is.
I can give you some clues. So it is the opening line to the song, but also the chorus. And shall I give you the album it's off? I think it's off Reload, if that helps.
Oh, I need Ian here for this. This is a Metallica song.
This is a Metallica song, yes.
Ian's going to be so mad at me. Oh, fuck. Oh, I've sworn again. Imagine that didn't happen. Sorry, I got very emotional. I got really hooked up on this game now.
Metallica does that to you. And Stapp-oke, double trouble.
I'm going to be in big trouble for this, but I'm not going to be able to get it right. Unless I can phone a friend.
I mean, this could be the first time we've ever done a phone a friend. It's not off the record. Can you phone someone right now?
Yeah, I can phone a friend if that's okay.
This is a Stapp-oke first, ladies and gentlemen. Who are you gonna call apart from Ghostbusters?
I feel like you should play some music. You know, like in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You know, where it's like.
Yeah, I'll add some kind of jingle music behind underneath, or like lift music. Ding, da, 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 da. So I'm going to
call Ian Miles.
Yeah, we'll block out his number. That's all right. I'll blur it out. No worries.
Okay, fantastic.
Ian Miles.
It's calling Ian Miles home. We'll see if he picks up.
William Gould.
Ian Miles, you're live on a podcast with me, and I've used you as a phone a friend.
Okay.
I need you, and you're going to be so mad with me because it's a Metallica question, and I need your help.
Oh my God! If I get it wrong, I'm going to be so embarrassed.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug the headphones quickly, and you're going to hear a version of a Metallica song from Reload, and it's going to be sung in the style of Creed.
Oh my God! Don't even.
Right. Okay. I know, but I feel like if you get it wrong, and I'm comfortable getting it wrong, you know, because you know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to put you out on.
Here we go.
Right, Ian, I'm going to bring you to the speaker, okay? And you're going to hear the version of the song done in the style of Creed.
Ian, it's Jay from Riverside Radio. How you doing, mate? Can you hear me okay?
I'm sorry, I didn't even introduce you guys.
That's all right. That's all right. Okay. So Will explained it very well. Okay, here's the track. Here's the lyric. We need the next line, the band, and the track. Okay. Here's Scott Stapp.
Oh wow. Okay.
Fortune fame, mirror vein, gone insane.
But the memory remains.
Yes! Wow.
That's gone fantastically so far.
That is the first phone a friend on Stapp-oke we've ever had, and it went swimmingly.
It's gone great. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm so proud of you, Ian. That's great.
Nice to speak to you, Ian.
Ian, what's the song? What's the song title?
Creed vocal, it's so good.
Yeah,
what's the song title, Ian? What's the song title?
It's called The Memory Remains.
Ah, there you go.
He got it very quickly. Very good.
Ian, I'm going to call you at Radio 1 a little bit later, but I will do that after this call.
Okay. Was it just that one?
This is the one I want. Oh, can you continue playing with me?
Oh, yeah, sure, if you want, yeah.
Do you want to stay for the whole game?
Well, halfway through, full marks.
Right, okay. I'm going to pop you down here, Ian.
This is a Rockology Hour first, but I'm I'm super up for losing that virginity right now. So, okay, number 6. You got this. Might be a bit tougher. You guys are friends with this band, I believe. Transparent through the window. Ooh.
Ian, any ideas there? We're going to confer over here. You know, any ideas there, Ian?
Nothing came to mind.
Transparent to the window.
If it helps, the title of the song is in that line I gave you. So if you can get the band from it, I can give you some clues. I believe they're from Cheltenham. I think the guitarist and the drummer have a side project called Nervous.
Oh, is it Milk Teeth?
Yes, it is.
Ian, I got it. Milk Teeth.
Wow. You got it.
They are from Cheltenham, and the song is transparent.
Yeah. So yeah, and do you get the next line?
Transparent through the window. I see, now I know the song.
Yeah.
Will we get the next line though? Ian, are you at a computer right now?
Quickly, frantically Googling the lyrics.
I'm not, unfortunately.
Oh no.
That's fair enough. Well, that's good. You got a solid. You got the band in the track, so that's 1 point there.
1 point. That's 1 point.
11 out of 12 so far.
This is going fantastically, and we're doing so good.
There's 4 to go. So here we go. Next one, number 7. I'm a cowboy on a steel horse I ride.
And I wanted.
Dead or alive.
There we go. So we perfectly got it. Got the track. Band.
Bon Jovi.
There we go. And Wanted Dead or Alive. Oh wow. Okay, we're on for a high score here, boys. So
Hey, we're gonna beat bees. I'm just gonna
you need 3 to beat bees.
Really?
We need 3. We need 3 to beat bees.
You've just matched Roger from Less Than Jake. Can you take it? You're going to enter the top 6 at this rate. So next one, number 8. Hey, you, what do you see?
Something beautiful, something free. Hey.
Oh my God. Okay, here we go. Yeah, that's correct.
And that is The Beautiful People.
Oh wow. Okay, we're on for a real big one here. 15.
Mate, you got it, Ian. We're doing good.
You're matching Frank Turner and Foxjaw at this point, so you're going to enter into the top 4. Okay.
We're going to get him at last.
A point and a half to. There's 4 points on offer. 1.5 will match you with bees, which I know you're desperate to be in. Okay. The stars that pierced the sky, that left them all behind.
That is AFI. That is Miss Murder. Stars that pierced the sky, let them all. Left to wonder why, left us all behind. Yeah, there you go.
Oh my days. Okay.
So
17.
17.
You guys could win, like legit win. So there's 2 points on offer. You're on 17. You're currently in second. You've taken over bees. He's in the rear view.
Yes, we beat bees. I'm gonna text them after this.
So Milk Teeth and Take Flight, they got 18. You're 1 point behind. And I'm very happy with this last song choice. Okay. Number 10. I hear voices in my head.
They counsel me, they understand, they talk to me. That is Randy Orton's theme tune, but who's to buy?
I was just going to give you Randy Orton's theme tune.
Oh, I got it, Randy Orton's theme tune. We got it.
But actually, if you did say the composer's name earlier.
Oh, is it Jim Johnston?
Yes.
There we go.
Very good.
That's one great.
That's the guy that writes all the wrestling things.
Yeah, man.
Oh my days. So massive congratulations. You are now number 1 in the Stapp-oke charts and number 1 in all our hearts. Well done, guys.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm really, really pleased with that result. Charlotte just came through and was laughing at me in the corridor there. This is actually ridiculous what the 3 of us are doing right now. Hope you all know that.
That's fantastic. But what's going to be more fantastic is your new record coming out Friday the 31st. Any Easter eggs, any things you want the listeners to do? I believe you have a Creeper Comic Con coming up. Is that right?
Yep. So we have Creeper Con tomorrow night. It's on Thursday. It starts at 10:30. There is interviews with Patricia Vanian from Sisters of Mercy, who appears in the record. It's got interviews with Giles Bidder, who made this podcast with Ian and I. There is interviews with Zandy Barry, our producer from Hollywood. There is interviews with us. There's footage from the Coco show, played for the first time, and I believe some stuff from the 229 show the year after as well. There is makeup tutorials. there is there's a lot. There's an action-packed show, guys.
There's so much to get it, so much
and
content
the
to dive
premiere
into.
of the brand new video for Poison Heart as well.
Yeah, it's a premiere of a video
Wow.
live.
Wow, I'm so excited. Where can we follow you guys on your social handles?
It's Creeper Cult UK, most places, isn't it? Because we were going to be Creeper Cult, but there was actually a dog that was called Creeper Cult. Do you remember that, Ian?
Yeah.
So the dog wouldn't allow us to have the Creeper Cult tag. So it's Creeper Cult UK, and he's this kind of that dog is Creeper Cult worldwide.
Wow, he sounds like a Rottweiler of a dog, and like not letting you have that. But I'm thrilled. I've taken up enough of your time. Ian, as well, thank you for coming on the show.
No
Through the
worries.
phone, last minute.
For a bit.
And we have new Stapp-oke leaders, and I'll let you know at the end of the year if you win. I 19 out of 20. I don't think anyone's going to beat that. That's
What do we
absurd.
get if we win at the end of the year?
I think I might create a trophy and send it to you. So I'll speak to your people and see where I can send it to.
That would be fantastic.
Or I might turn up at your house dressed as Scott Stapp in the rain. That might happen.
I mean, that would be some great content, you know.
Awesome, guys. Thanks so much for coming on. We're going to put on your track Poison Heart right now. Will, thank you very much for coming on the show, man.
Mate, thanks for having us.
Thanks, Ian, as well on the phone.
Rockology Hour Interviews.